I'm going to tell the whole world about vacuuming my arse into destruction. You've gone from being the wisest and most genius pissed man to you absolute fucking balloon in 5 seconds. Congratulations, Baz. Hello, and welcome to the Lock-In Podcast. My name's Mike, and this is Baz. Say hello, Baz.
Hello, Baz.
Hey.
Changed it up this week.
Nice. I like that. That was a little bit. It was halfway between OnlyFans and Audible. It was like a talking book, but it was a smutty one. You know what I mean? I liked it though.
So I think every week I might have to sort of come up with a different subdued version. Or I'm just going to go, hello, Baz.
Well, do you know what I mean? Just keep me guessing. That's the way. Keep me on my toes.
One thing I want to say to you, because I haven't spoken to you for a couple of days, is I watched your TikTok with the Carl Pilkington thing the other day, and I did put a thing on there. I swear to God, I didn't realise you were doing a lip sync. I literally thought it was you.
Because you think I sound like Carl Pilkington. I mean, he's from a different part of Manchester. But
Yeah.
I'm from, I don't know if I mentioned this on the podcast, but I'm from a town called Bury, just north of Manchester.
You've never mentioned that before.
No, I haven't, have I? Because I moved to Ireland. It's not like I'm overcompensating by never shutting up about the town I'm from. But yeah, and he's obviously from Manchester as well. He's from a different part. But yeah, I kind of get it. But yeah, a lot of people said that. Hey, yeah. I must have done that. I don't usually do lip syncs, but I must have done half a decent job if people thought it were my voice then.
Oh, for sure, yeah.
Somebody actually put that sounds like Carl Pilkington.
There you go.
Funny that, isn't it? There's a very good reason why that sounds like Carl Pilkington, because that's exactly whose voice it is. If you haven't been with us before, welcome to our virtual pub.
Where have you been?
Readlings. Exactly. Where have you been? There's loads in the back catalogue. Get back and look. Not yet though. Listen to this one first.
Yeah, good.
This is me and Baz sat in our virtual pub, the Brace of Readlings, chatting nonsense as we would do if we were sat in a real pub. Often we have guests. We've had some phenomenal guests. Go and have a look back at the previous ones. Tonight we don't have a guest. We are just going to have a chat, and tonight's subject of the chat is basically just funny and weird shit we found on the internet. So I've got quite a few things. Look, I disappeared down some rabbit holes on the internet this week, and that's the danger of this. We decided that's what we were going to cover. We were going to cover like weird and funny stuff we found on the internet, which involves sitting and going through the internet. And I don't need any help on that, mate, because I'm always either on TikTok or Instagram, also losing hours of my life.
It's mad, isn't it?
But yeah, I disappeared down some rabbit holes this week.
Well, I'm looking forward to this then.
I did. I've got quite a few things. I was on Reddit, and oh my God, I'm gonna have to be very disciplined not to just lose my entire life on Reddit.
Well, Reddit's a weird one, isn't it? Because it's such an expansive website. It covers everything.
Yeah, I don't understand it for a second, but I did find a subject or a heading that I was having loads of fun and loads of entertainment out of digging into. And I've also got a couple of things, kind of funny news story type things. So I'm going to start with quite a quick one. There's a guy in America who lives next to the airport. So he's painted in massive letters on the top of his house, "Welcome to Cleveland," which is a nice thing to do, you know. It'd be nicer if he lived in Cleveland and he wasn't just taking the piss out of the people who are flying in.
What a genius.
The guy lives in Milwaukee, which is 350 miles away from Cleveland. And in a massive display of shithousery, he's put in massive 3-foot letters, "Welcome to Cleveland," on the roof of his house. So people flying into the airport in Milwaukee all of a sudden think, shit, I'm on the wrong plane, or the pilot's got lost or something like that.
Brilliant. Well, that just reminds me of something else that was internet based. There's when they started first doing Google Maps or Google Earth. I'm pretty sure lots of people got the idea to start putting things on their roofs that would actually end up on Google Earth. So I'm fairly confident there are a number of fuck offs on people's houses.
I'm sure there is. And do you know what? There was wasn't there a guy who put a horse's head mask on, and he kind of knew, like he'd get caught by the Google Earth camera, and then he'd kind of see which sort of route it was, and then dash down the back streets and like crop up again, and he just There's this guy in one of those rubber horse masks that is just cropping up in loads of different places.
Have you ever been into Hong Kong Airport?
Are we into where? Sorry?
Is it Hong Kong that you're flying through the lower than the
No.
buildings? 'Cause
No.
I would have thought that would be the perfect place to put stuff in the windows as you fly in.
Yes. If you can read this, you're too low, you're going to die. Something like that.
Well, apparently it's quite a scary run in if you've never been there before, because you are literally flying between buildings as you come in.
It's one of the most dangerous airports in the world. Apparently, I saw this thing, this documentary about the most dangerous airports in the world, and I've flown into the most dangerous airport in the world, which is Gibraltar.
Oh, okay.
And the reason it's the most dangerous airport in the world is because actually I've not flown into it, I've flown out of it. But the reason it's the most dangerous airport in the world is because there is sea at both ends of the runway, and there's a road that goes through the middle of the runway.
Okay.
So there's all kinds of ways you or other people could die.
If you're having an off day, that's where it's going to go, isn't it? So have they identified this guy in Milwaukee then as
I don't know. It doesn't have his name on the news story, but if you're listening, guy in Milwaukee who's painted "Welcome to Cleveland" on your roof, fair play to you. That is shithousery of the highest order, and I like it. And
yes.
The Lock-In podcast officially commends you and endorses you.
Right. Okay. So I read this week, and I think it was a couple of weeks ago, but I only read it today. Roberto Carlos apparently played for a pub side and scored.
Yes, he did.
I believe it was an eBay competition.
It was, yeah. What a brilliant idea! It's got shit. I used to work for massive companies who spent literally hundreds of millions of pounds a year on advertising. But how much free advertising have eBay got from that? But I just think it's such a brilliant idea, though. Is that it's like they run a competition and these world football legends are trotting out for these pub sides and that.
Well, so I watched part of the video and it was amazing because obviously, even though they probably got a much higher audience than they usually did for that team, it wasn't thousands, was it? It was still probably just a couple of hundred people that had turned out to watch him.
Yeah. Yeah,
thought made it even better.
Yeah, exactly. I think they mustn't have said. They must have had to keep it under wraps.
Yeah,
because obviously, if you said he's playing, Roberto Carlos is going to be playing at the park next door. Do you know what I mean? I think there'd be more than a few thousand there.
And if you don't know who Roberto Carlos is, he's a World Cup winning Brazilian free kick taker of extraordinary ability, isn't he?
There you go. That's a very good synopsis.
Yes.
Or summation. Both of those things, I think.
But yeah, to play for an actual pub side, and apparently he didn't even start. He came off the bench, didn't he?
Yeah. Well, his legs have gone, mate. He's about your age. He's not quite.
Yes.
He's not quite, but I didn't miss the opportunity to take the piss out of how old you are, Baz. I've got a really quick one here, Baz, that I saw was. It didn't happen this week, but I found it this week, so I'm qualifying it as that.
Yeah.
In 1996, a store manager in California robbed his own store, reported the robbery, and then gave such a detailed description of the suspect to the sketch artist that when police pointed out to him that the suspect looked exactly like him, he confessed. So he robbed the supermarket and called the police, obviously an insurance job or whatever.
Yeah.
And they asked him what the guy looked like, and they had to describe him in great detail to the sketch artist. And for some reason, the guy gave such a really good account of what the thief actually looked like. The sketch artist ended up drawing him. And it was so good, he had to confess.
He either panicked or he thought, I'm going to make this really realistic and actually tell the truth about this bit.
Maybe he just got confused. You just think, I was a witness. I saw him. I know exactly. I got a very good look at him. I know him.
I think it just goes to prove that, crime isn't for everybody, is it?
You're not cut out for it, pal. Maybe there are other. I don't know if it was your careers officer's idea that you become a criminal, but it wasn't the best idea.
One of the things that I found this week, it's a URL, which obviously, as we know, bolts all the words together, and it was for a company called Kids Exchange.
Oh, I see.
So I thought, and I saw this on the internet, and I thought, obviously, it's one of those funny ones. Someone must have noticed it. So I Googled it. I found the company. they don't seem to have any kind of awareness that that's what their website is called, even though there's a shop front with it on. The actual Kids Exchange, which is on the internet, and if you are listening, well done. It's literally just what it is. It's a Kids Exchange of toys.
So, for the hard of thinking who haven't figured it out yet, if you write down Kids Exchange and don't put any spaces in it, it looks a little bit like Kids Sex Change.
Yes. I felt sure that so they obviously you could leave reviews on there. I thought, this is it's gonna have a list of like funny reviews on there. Not one. I was more disappointed by the fact there wasn't any reviews on it that were highlighted their poor choice of URL.
Do you know what, Baz? I'm disappointed that you having been on this website and having seen there are reviews on there, I'm disappointed in you that there are still no funny reviews on there.
It's honestly, I've changed. I'm so protective of my own kind of brand now that I don't want to get embroiled in any of these things. I know.
Set up a burner account, mate.
Yeah, I used to. as we know.
Definitely not my petrol emotion.
Yeah, even that on its own doesn't come out with a decent URL.
Yeah, my diesel emotion.
Yes, there you go.
There you go. That's what your. I reckon that's what your. That's what your internet tribute band would be. Right, that's got quite a chunky one now, and you will have heard of this, but I often, I say often, I have a number of times, not often, but I have a number of times gone and had a look at this. I haven't done for a couple of years, but you will definitely have heard of it. It's the Darwin Awards.
Oh, yeah. It's classics.
And it's just like, for those listening or watching who don't know what the Darwin Awards are, obviously Charles Darwin was about natural selection, and the idea of Darwin Awards are people who died in a really stupid way. So the theory is that it's cleansing the gene pool of these people who are so thick they end up wiping themselves out. So that's pretty much the way it is. So I've got my favourites of what I found when I was looking at Darwin Awards. So I'm going to go through a few of them. Okay, the first one is Iraqi terrorist Kai Ranajet decided to send out a letter bomb in 2000. Not being the brightest of sparks, he forgot to put enough postage stamps on the letter, meaning that it came back returned to sender. Kay was so happy to receive some post that he ripped it open. And it says here, his career in terrorism ended there. Again, somebody who was advised to do something by the careers officer that was advised to do the wrong thing.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sure. I'm not implying that careers officers in Iraq do offer terrorism as a valid career choice.
But if they did, they failed.
But if they did, they shouldn't have told him, should they?
Exactly.
The next one is the next one came under a separate heading, which was highly educated people who've been awarded Darwin Awards. Okay?
Ooh,
so obviously the theory is that it's only the thick people, but this must have been a thick person masquerading as an intelligent man. So he was a high-flying lawyer who had an office, massive window, high up in a skyscraper, and was always boasting about the fact that this window was bulletproof and shatterproof and all that kind of stuff. Okay.
Yeah.
So one day, a group of law students was visiting the firm on a tour. When he went through his routine of shoving his shoulder into the window to prove this bulletproof, smash-proof window. That day, however, he mustn't have known his own strength because the glass popped out of the window frame, and he was right. It didn't break, but the whole window fell out, and he went hurtling down 24 stories to his death.
Well, there's a good one for you, because that just goes to show that brains don't mean anything in this one.
Yeah, and overconfidence in other people's abilities and workmanship, I think. But yeah, can you imagine being one of those law students and just thinking, like, obviously you're thinking, oh my god, this guy's like a super successful guy, and amazing, can't wait for the tour around his office, and he's just gone, hey, do you want to see this? Look, that window's dead. Watch this. Just runs into it. The whole window falls out, and so does he. Here's another one. over 550 motorcyclists participated in a rally in New York State in the summer of 2011 to fight for their right to ride without a helmet. One of the protesters, a 55-year-old man named Philip Contos, he had to slam on his brakes to prevent running into a bike in front of him at the rally. He lost control of his Harley-Davidson motorcycle and his body was thrown over the handlebars and he hit the pavement head first. When doctors examined his body at the hospital, they confirmed that if he'd been wearing a helmet, he would have lived.
There you go.
It's like, that's instant feedback, isn't it? It's like,
Yes.
Why the fuck should I be wearing a helmet? Boom. That's why, dickhead.
I'm assuming Alanis Morissette would have had a verse with him in it these days, wouldn't she?
It's a very American thing. I've got the right to be fucking stupid. You should let me be. Right. Next one is in 1995 in Poland, some men went to extraordinary lengths to prove how macho they were. They were all incredibly drunk, I may add. Polish farmer Krzysztof Asninski,
Yeah, got that.
apologies, I'm not Polish, states a strong claim for being Europe's most macho man by cutting off his own head. So the way this story goes is that Adzinski, 30, had been drinking with his friends when he suggested they strip naked and play some men's games, in quotes. Initially, they hit each other over their head with frozen turnips. Sounds like Blackadder. But then one man upped the ante by seizing a chainsaw and cutting off his foot.
Right, okay.
Not to be outdone, Adzinski, trying to prove that he was more of a man, grabbed the saw and shouted, "Watch this then!" He swung at his own head and chopped it off.
Wow.
It's funny, said one companion. When he was young, he put on his sister's underwear, but he died like a man. Okay. Well, I think the companion who said that needs to be watched as closely as that guy should have been.
That's slightly that's disturbing, isn't it?
It's just, I mean, Baz, you and I have been drunk, yeah?
Yeah,
and we've been quite drunk on many occasions. I've definitely not been pissed enough to think, I'm going to prove how hard I am by cutting off my own head. That'll do it.
I just, it makes you wonder what the end result in his head, or sorry, not in his head, that's ridiculous, was going
On
to be.
the floor.
Yes.
What was going through his head? I'll tell you what was going through his head. A really fast turning, very, very sharp chainsaw.
That's mad.
Absolute dickhead. I could say that because he ain't going to come and get retribution when he listens to this podcast, is he?
No.
This is a great one. In 2000 in Brazil, I love these ones that are all relatively recent. I know 22 years ago isn't recent to some of our listeners, but do you know what I mean? To us, I've literally got shoes from before then. In 2000 in Brazil, 3 Brazilian men died when they lost control of their light aircraft when another plane approached at low altitude. Okay? At the moment, it seems like tragic accident, doesn't it? They were found dead among the wreckage with their trousers round their ankles. Now I'm intrigued. The final line of this is, accident investigators believe they'd intended to moon the occupants of the other plane. So they've seen another plane come in at low level and thought, this is our chance, lads. Undo your belts. We're going to moon this other plane. That'll be funny, won't it? Turns out it wasn't. Unbelievable. And the final one I've got here, Baz. In 1995 in Egypt, an 18-year-old farmer climbed into a 60-foot well to rescue a chicken. Okay. I'm already questioning the I didn't need to read this and know that it was a Darwin Award to know that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
The undercurrent proved too strong and he drowned. Okay.
Yeah.
So far, it sounds tragic accident, not worthy of a Darwin Award just yet. But okay, this is a collective one because his sister and 2 brothers, none of whom could swim, entered the well to help him. They also drowned. Okay, 2 elderly farmers who came to help were also overtaken by the same undercurrent and they drowned.
Wow.
Okay. But it's not all doom and gloom, Baz. I'm about to lighten the mood because all 6 bodies were later pulled from the well. Tragic. Along with the chicken, which survived. So in the end, it was okay. And no 6 people laid down their lives, but they achieved the objective of the first 18-year-old guy. And the chicken was saved.
Presumably, because he was just stood on the floating bodies in the well.
The chicken was saved until 2 weeks later when it was put in the oven.
Exactly.
It must have been really big and look like that's going to make a really good dinner, that is. I'm not going to lose that one. I'm going to go down a 60-foot well to rescue this bad boy. I mean, that's a lot of nuggets. Well, thankfully, Baz, you and I are far too intelligent and we would never do anything silly, particularly under the influence of alcohol.
Yeah, I think the closest thing I ever did was I jumped off a roof when I was drunk before, well, it's a 1.5 story, so it was a bungalow like roof. Managed to get up on there, and I don't know why. I thought it was a good idea, but and it was during the day. It was at a barbecue, and I was doing a wrestling thing, and the table I jumped on wasn't one of those ones that collapsed easily either. So it's actually because the table was solid that I didn't break my legs and didn't go straight through it.
Were you showing off, Baz?
It probably was, but then
It sounds like it.
I'm not sure that you show off when you're drunk, do you? I think you just think that you could do stuff that you're not capable of doing.
You definitely try.
What's the worst thing you've ever done when you've been drunk?
Oh, Baz, there's a long, long list.
Well, I meant more Darwin-esque than just like,
Oh, I don't like. No, I can't think of anything. I've not injured myself or done anything like that.
Oh, I did that thing in. I did the thing when I went to Marbella once, where I was so drunk that I left all my friends and decided to head back early, but I needed to go for a waz, and like that thing with I'll just find a quiet little alleyway or a little side street, and every time that I went to kind of find a spot, someone would just appear, so I'd walk a bit further, and eventually I was lost because I hadn't kept track of where I was going. And I was that drunk, I was thinking, oh God, how am I going to find my way back to the hotel? Can't remember what it's called. I've no idea. I can't, nothing like this. So I think I told you this. I got my phone out because I remembered the shape of the pool. So I was looking on Google Maps to find the shape of the pool. In my drunken state, I couldn't remember anything else, but I could remember the shape of the pool. And then I found the pool on Google Maps, pressed the button on there, then navigated towards there.
Baz, that's the opposite of what we're talking about. That's a drunken fucking genius.
But obviously I got upstairs and I clambered up, got through the lift and got to the door. When I pulled out my room key, I realised on it said the name of the hotel. So I could have just...
Wow, there you go. You've redeemed yourself there, Baz.
I could have literally just gone to a cab driver and said, take me here, please. Instead I spent 2 hours walking around Marbella.
Mate, you've redeemed yourself, mate. I thought you were the wisest drunken man ever on holiday until you pointed out you were in fact. That's just a proper hairpin bend in that conversation, isn't it? You've gone from being the wisest and most genius pissed man to you absolute fucking balloon in 5 seconds. Congratulations, Baz.
You know in your own heart of heart when you hit that thing and you kind of go, there's the name of the hotel on the key card. I've never done that classic thing at a hotel. And a couple of my friends have, and you probably know a few people that have got up in the middle of the night to go for a piss, and then gone out through the door to the room and ended up in the hall.
Yeah, no,
that happens so many times.
Yeah. Oh God, it must happen on a weekly basis in hotels. That's why they have. That's why a lot of hotels, or most hotels, have at least one phone on the landing of every floor of the hotel.
But it must be worse if you go out before you found the toilet, thinking you're going into the toilet. So now you're bursting for a piss and you're in the hallway,
and you're naked in public. I got lost in a wormhole on Reddit this week, looking for things that are weird and wonderful on the internet, and I have them in front of me because I've I've printed off the internet, Baz. Not all of it, admittedly, because I'm running out of ink on my printer. So I've not printed it all out. I've just printed out the bits I needed. The first one is it's quite tame, but it's if people are into Reddit, it's the subject of the Reddit or the topic. I don't know what they're called. The thing that comes after the backslash. It's called TIFU, which stands for Today I Fucked Up.
Okay.
Right. So yeah, the first one. I'm an international student studying in the UK, and so I don't really keep up with the ads here. A few months ago, Cadbury's released 145 prize-winning eggs across the country, with a chance of winning a range of cash prizes, including £10,000, which incidentally is half my university tuition. Long story short, I was scrolling through Instagram today and saw the prize-winning egg that looked identical to the one I ate a couple of hours ago. Like, fuck. The next one. This one says, this happened just now. We've got a smart baby monitor with a camera. It can play music, and you can also say stuff to the baby to settle it.
Right.
I'm at work, and I got a notification on my phone from the baby monitor saying, environment too noisy. I clicked the feed of the baby monitor showed up, and because of the angle, I could see a pair of feet with black shoes and a pair of wearing jeans walking around vacuuming. As my wife works from home, I thought she was just cleaning a bit in the baby's room. I also thought it would be funny to get a little frisky. So I started saying, "Hey, baby. Hey, hot stuff. Can you hear me?" And there's no reaction. So I set the baby monitor to play some classical music to get her attention. She walked more towards the camera, and I said, "Hey, honey, want to show me a titty?" No reaction, and the feet resumed cleaning. I messaged the wife to say, "Can't you hear me through the baby monitor? Show me a titty, wink, wink." My wife messaged back saying she's not at home, but my mum's come over to do some cleaning. So he's basically... He said he's hoping that the fact that his mum hasn't reacted is because she didn't hear because she's got headphones on or the vacuum cleaner's too loud or whatever like that. That guy has effectively asked his mum to show him her tits, which is it's not what anybody would want. Apparently, he says my wife is now laughing her ass off, and I'm hoping my mum didn't react because she was wearing headphones or something. Okay, so the last one I've got here. There's a guy here who's lactose intolerant, but he also quite likes brie. This happened this afternoon. Not very much backstory needed for this one. However, I guess I should explain myself. Firstly, I'm lactose intolerant. Really badly lactose intolerant. If I have cheese, whey, pretty much anything with milk solids in it, I'll start blasting out wind like an involuntary ass trumpet. Diarrhea happens occasionally as well. The issue is that I really, really like brie. Secondly, I was home alone today. My girlfriend had gone out for lunch with her friends, and I thought I'd surprise her by cleaning the house while she was away. Who knows? It could have led to some grateful, sexy times. As it turned out, though, that was never to be. Before I started, I spotted some brie in the fridge and ate some brie. It wasn't too long into vacuuming that I started feeling a churning in my stomach. I'd farted a few times, relatively mildly, before an epiphany hit me. Why don't I vacuum away my farts? Okay. The smell will be contained inside the bag, and potential embarrassment in the future may be avoided. So his girlfriend's out, and he thinks he's had the brie, he's got bad farts, and he thinks, I don't want to fill the house with bad farts before the missus comes home. Why don't I vacuum up my farts? That's his logic so far, and I can't fault it, to be honest. So, without further ado, to maximize absorption, I undid my pants the next time I felt another gas wave hitting me. So began the biggest mistake of my recent memory. It turns out that between the negative pressure of the vacuum and the positive pressure of a fart, the effect was much stronger than anticipated. As the fart arrived, the gas was rapidly absorbed into the vacuum tube, along with the end segment of my large intestine. He's prolapsed into his vacuum cleaner, basically. So it says, unsurprisingly, this hurt a fucking lot. I immediately turned off the vacuum and tried to push my sphincter back into my ass. Turns out that doesn't work, and it also hurts a fucking lot too. So basically, long story short, that you've got the good bits. His girlfriend came back, pissed herself laughing, realised he was in a huge amount of pain, and he had to go to the hospital and explain the whole situation of why the lower part of his large intestine was hanging out of his back passage.
Oh dear!
Thank the Lord, he's decided. I know what I'll do. I'm going to go on the Reddit for TIFU, Today I Fucked Up, and I'm going to tell the whole world about vacuuming my arse into destruction.
That just brings up a few questions. Is A, you'd be thinking...
But there's plenty we can unpick on this, and let's do it.
Yeah. Well, the first thing you'd be thinking was, if you were vaguely intelligent, would... A vacuum cleaner is called a vacuum cleaner for one thing. It creates a vacuum. You put it up against something that is also going to seal the end of that off, and the other end of that vacuum is going to be probably your stomach.
We've all when vacuuming put it on our face and stuff.
Yes, we have.
I say face.
Yes, I know.
Yes. Anyway, I was vacuuming naked and in A&E. No, we've all put a vacuum on your face and you can feel how powerful it is. But to be honest, when he first started saying, I couldn't fault his logic. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think as he alludes to in that when he says. I think the problem is when he started saying to increase absorption, I undid my belt. I think yes. I know. The moment he fucked up is when he undid his belt.
Exactly. Because
he could definitely have done it through his jeans.
I'm not a scientist, but yes, I'm pretty sure that would have worked.
I mean, his jeans might have smelled. His jeans would have filtered out some of the bigger lumps.
Yeah.
But
lumps.
Yeah. Oh, we've all had them, Baz. But his jeans would have filtered out some of them. But yeah, he could have achieved his objective of not making his house smell of brie fart by doing it through his jeans. And do you know what? With the filtration of denim, I think it would have been a splendid idea.
Or he just used a different head on the Hoover that didn't have that seal on it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe if he'd gone for the one that does in between the edge of the carpet and the wall, that narrow one.
Yeah, no, I think that might be worse.
Yeah, that'd just
That might have pulled out his dinner.
Yeah, that just made his sphincter look like a ruler.
I was thinking of the round brush one, although that may have had its own consequences.
Mate, I'm going to try that later. That sounds all right, that one.
I might go do it live on here.
There isn't a box for us to tick that says that's okay, Baz.
Yeah, it's true. You could do it off camera and just sort of get the facial expression.
There was one of our videos on YouTube. I had to click the over 18s thing because we talked about... I'll put spaces in between two normal words.
Yep.
Hand and jobs.
Yep.
We talked about that, so I had to click a button that said it was for 18s. And as a result, 2 people have watched it because nobody gets shown it. It doesn't get shown anywhere because it's for over 18s. So we'll have to push that one out. We'll have to push that. We'll have to send that to everyone. It was a good one.
Yeah, it was. Well, I'll push it out tomorrow. Not
exactly.
Although pushing it out on the subject we're talking about now probably isn't the right term, is it?
Yeah, exactly. Push the YouTube video, not your sphincter. That's good advice in general, I think.
Yeah, I think so. It's definitely
on a list of things. On a list of things to push out, sphincter should be right at the bottom. Excuse the pun. And that's where it should stay.
I think. Well, I'm going to lighten the mood here, and where we're not talking about people's sphincters now. I remember we had some friends over years and years ago on a Saturday night, and we were talking about this very subject about strange websites. And one of my friends said, "Have you ever seen a website called Baby Merkins?" And I was so. Do you know what a merkin is?
A merkin is, I believe, it's a pubic wig, isn't it?
Correct. Yes. So basically, someone it's basically a website for wigs for babies.
Pubic wigs.
No, but wigs. They just call it
Thank
baby
God for
merkins.
that. I was like, Baz, that's a side of the internet I don't want to be seeing.
It's probably more to do with the size of the wigs than anything else. So
Got
yes.
you.
So basically,
Or
I'm going to spend.
maybe it's pubic wigs that are bought because they're the right size to put on a baby's head. I don't know. I don't know how big those wigs are.
Well, these ones particularly were proper manufactured wigs that you could buy for your baby.
That's tremendous.
And I remember it was like 2 hours of going through the entire website and these things were available to buy.
Wow.
So it was 2 hours of just laughing at every single wig that you could buy for your baby. It doesn't exist anymore. I've literally I scrolled today trying to find it, and all I came up with was cat wigs in the end, which is equally as funny.
All he came up with is cat wigs.
Yes, it was.
How very dull and predictable.
That's all I could find. But yeah, so I'm going to campaign for bringing back baby wigs because, like, I'm sure there's a market.
That is a very good idea. Do you know what it reminds me? I don't know why it reminds me, but yeah, I'll tell you what. Baby in a wig. I've just got like real life Boss Baby.
Oh yeah,
you know the animation Boss Baby.
Yeah.
I just like I think that'd be brilliant. A tiny little baby who can barely walk. Just like dress him up in a wig and a 3-piece suit.
Exactly.
With a fake cigar hanging out of the mouth. I reckon that's.
But yeah,
that's got me thinking about something that a side of the internet that I explored once is taxidermied items that you can get on eBay.
Oh yes.
Some tremendous stuff. Tremendous. There are ones where I don't know if you remember, but like back in like the 80s, 90s, pretty much every pool room of every pub had those pictures of dogs playing pool.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
You can get a mini pool table with squirrels playing pool.
Oh, mad!
But they're actually real squirrels.
Yeah.
You know, like stuffed squirrels. But my favorite one of these things that I found was a squirrel, and they'd sewn like a zip into its fur that was open to the waist, and its little paws were pulling open its fur to reveal a Superman outfit on an actual squirrel.
So just leading on that, I've got a couple of friends, obviously connected to my old days of working in the shooting industry, that are taxidermists, and they have got. So obviously within their community, they've got a whole thing which is bad taxidermy, which is what you're referring to, isn't it?
Mm.
It's where you've got like
no. I'm not referring to bad taxidermy, Baz. That's fucking tremendous taxidermy.
Okay. Yeah, well, I've got a friend has done mice for shotguns, and obviously you've seen the fox with the shotgun at the horse show, haven't you?
Yes, Windsor Horse Show. So this is the difference, you see. I'm talking about something that is like a squirrel unzipping its fur and revealing a Superman, which is like, you know, and it was like, that's the difference. It's like, that's bad taxidermy. But posh people, they're all for a fox up in his hind legs with a shotgun in a tweed suit. I mean, look, it's not only all right for, you know, it's not only like it's all right for posh people to go riding through the countryside shooting foxes. What they've got to do is they've got to take the piss out of them and make it look like they're getting their own back by dressing up as with a shotgun and going hunting humans. I can't think of it. And like I said, the Windsor Horse Show that we went to was just, obviously everyone's phenomenally wealthy and it's just a very, very posh thing. That really struck me as just really weird. It was like, I can't imagine going to some fabulously wealthy person's kind of country house. I get you'd have stag's head on the wall and you'd have a few things like that, you know? You might even have a bear rug from the 70s or whatever. Do you know what I mean? But I can't imagine they'd think it was like really good taste or just something they would pay money for to have a fox on its hind legs with a shotgun wearing tweed. I don't get it.
So I know a guy, and he's probably at the pinnacle of the taxidermy game. He makes animatronics for movies. So if you ever seen like a movie where you've got like a monkey doing something like that, quite often he's made something. He's made a taxidermy of a monkey that's doing this thing. He has in his collection. He has got a unicorn, which is
A
like
real one.
Well, obviously not. But he's actually taxidermied an entire pony,
Wow.
and it's in the air as well. So it's literally floating.
Wow.
He has got. You could get monkey lights. So basically, these marmosets, so the little sort of spider monkeys.
Yeah.
There's a chain of those going up a chain, and each one's holding a light. This guy's, this is taking that to the next level,
Wow.
like
That's
proper.
Yeah. I think maybe he's heard of fairy lights and misunderstood. And
Yeah,
thought,
exactly.
well, if you could do it with fairies, you can do it with monkeys.
Yeah. But I've got a friend who's got a giraffe head in her taxidermy studio. This is enormous. This is from its like just where it leaves the body all the way up to the head. It's like crazy. It's enormous as well.
I'm surprised that's allowed.
Well, yeah, I'm guessing. I went to a tattoo studio where they had a full size tiger head, and people are literally. I posted it. People were like, "Oh, that's terrible." I said, "Well, yeah, but like these animals are still killed in other countries, for quite often for purposes to stop them, if they've gone wild or something like that."
Yeah, cold, Baz.
Cold.
Change it from KILL to CULL. It's not as bad. It's fine.
Yeah. So I'm guessing these things exist. But have you ever, just going down the other route? Have you ever seen the bad taxidermy where people have done projects and they're not very good at taxidermy?
Oh, that's even funnier than the bad tattoo thing.
It's where they got the massive eyes in a fox.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Everything looks like scrat.
So someone sadly lost a Yorkshire Terrier, and they're and they get it back, and it looks like a hamster with golf balls for eyes.
Exactly.
It's just so funny.
It was one of those things because anyone can do taxidermy. You and I, if we want to, we could just begin in our own homes with no skill and just a few maybe lessons off the internet. So you can imagine the mess that you and I would make on our first attempt. Unless we just got lucky and turned up with something amazing.
I don't know. Where do you start? Do you start with like a spider?
Well, I think I should imagine you probably start with a mouse or something like that.
Yeah, I mean, mice don't count. They get caught up in kids in GCSE science. Do you know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah. Well, yeah, you get those and you put them back together, don't you?
There you go. Maybe that's the thing, Baz. Maybe we could do that. Maybe we stumbled on something we could take to Dragon's Den.
Oh yeah.
It's like when you finish with all these mice that you dissected for GCSE biology.
Yeah.
Don't bin them. Give them to me and Baz. We'll fill them with sand.
Yeah.
And sell them on the internet.
There you are. It's a great business, isn't it?
Deal.
Right, done.
This time next year, Baz. This time next year, Baz, we'll be penniless with a house full of dead mice.
Oh yeah, perfect.
I mean, millionaires. That's what I meant.
I can't actually go into that subject though. I can't ever imagine because you and I both have dogs. I can't imagine I'd ever want a pet of mine to ever be taxidermied so that I would have it forever. Just seems wrong.
I do. I agree. And I know some people do. Some people do. They love having their dead cat or their dead dog stuffed and on display. And I just think, I don't know, that would be really weird. If I went around someone's house and it's like, where's your dog? Oh, it died. Well, it's over there. I thought, fucking hell, what? Do you know what I mean? I just don't I don't know. I definitely wouldn't want to do it.
No.
But what do you do with them? Are they just on the mantelpiece?
I guess you have them in a glass case and then they're on your mantelpiece or on a wall or something like that. It'd be weird though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, like a hunting trophy.
Yeah.
No, it's not for me, Baz. Thanks for the offer, Baz, but no. I know you were looking for business because you just decided that me and you were going to become taxidermists. But
exactly.
Yeah.
I was looking around for some URLs because a because you started this. You started this quite a long time ago. I think we did. I can't remember who the guest was, but I think you might have been the first time Clara was on. But you brought up some URLs, and I found one today which I thought was genius. So it's a bait company, and obviously they're.
Is that, you mean like a Geordie, like lunch?
No, it's actually bait for fishing.
Got you.
And so their company are called Master Bait.
No.
and their URL is Masturbate Online.
Wow.
It just got me.
That's not the kind of message you need to give anyone, actually. I reckon there's quite a lot goes on anyway.
Yeah, it's clearly a well-used instruction, isn't it?
So I'm presuming it's Master BAIT.
Correct, yeah.
Online.
But altogether, it's Masturbate Online.
Wow. That's actually quite good. I like that. That's kind of like they've thought about that one. Do you know what I mean? It's not like the other one that you said before.
Kids Exchange.
Kids Exchange, or like Penn Island. Remember that one?
Oh, Penn Island. That was brilliant.
Yeah, Penis Land. So
Sorry, let's make it up all over again.
It's not like that one where they've just not thought about it and go, oh, shit. Or Power Gen Italia.
Oh, yes.
So Power Gen in Italy is Power Gen Italia. Power Genitalia. Love it.
Right, so basically, when Susan Boyle first brought out her album, they obviously condensed it and turned it into a hashtag, and it was Susan Album Party. So
wow.
it comes out Sue's Anal Bum Party. There you go. That's what I was tripping over trying to find. I'm glad I found it in the end. There's a hashtag.
There you go. There's the hashtag. So
hashtag
if you want to know about Susan Boyle's party, then it's
Susan Album
Susan
Party.
Album Party. Think about your hashtags before you go for them. Brilliant, Baz. So that's all we've got time for this week. Thanks everyone for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Join us again next time. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Thanks Baz for being on again. And we'll see you all next time.
See you later.
Cheers. Bye-bye.